In Space Watch, NASA says the first all-female spacewalk will take place tomorrow. You may recall the spacewalk was supposed to take place earlier this year, but it was scrapped because NASA didn't have 2 spacesuits in the right size. CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood joins me now from the Kennedy Space Center, our bureau there in Florida. So, Bill, we're glad to see NASA sorted out the spacesuit issue, but tell us a little bit more about these 2 astronauts and the history they're going to be making tomorrow.
Well, it's really interesting. Cosmonaut Alexei Leonov, who passed away just recently, carried out the first spacewalk back in 1965. The first female to walk in space, a Russian cosmonaut, that happened in 1984. The first American woman to walk in space, Catherine Sullivan, followed later that year. Since then, 14 women have walked in space, including Christina Cook. She was number 14. And now with this spacewalk, Jessica Meyer will become number 15. And together, they will be the first to ever venture outside of the vacuum of space in an all-woman, all-female spacewalk. So it's really quite a milestone for NASA and the space community in general.
NASA's also planning to send, the first woman to the moon by 2024. So we know there was also a new spacesuit unveiled this week for that mission. What's new about the suit?
Well, it's really interesting. When you watch Cook and Mir go out of the space station on their spacewalk, they're wearing these very bulky suits that were designed 40 years ago, really, for the space shuttle program. So to work on the moon, they need something that has much better mobility, much more flexibility, so astronauts can bend over, pick things up from the surface, move their shoulders, reach around a lot better than they can in the current spacesuit. So the new suits they unveiled for these moon missions do all of that. Better mobility, better flexibility, and they're going to test these on the space station before they ever take them to the moon. But it's a big step forward for that.
Bill, we know a lot of thought goes into engineering what they wear in space, but why is it that they're so bulky and they look like a costume at Chuck E. Cheese?
Well, you have to remember they're working in a vacuum, whether it's on the moon's surface or in Earth orbit, and so the suits are pressurized. So if you imagine gloves under pressure internally, they get very stiff. The whole thing is bulky if you think about it. It's like working inside an inflated balloon. As a matter of fact, that's one of the advantages of the new moon suit they've unveiled. It's a lot easier for astronauts to move inside that suit than it is on the current suits. Your fingers get very tired at the end of a long spacewalk. It's just kind of a grueling process when you're in one of those suits for 7 or 8 hours. And so that moon suit, hopefully, is going to be a big improvement for the astronauts.
So fascinating. I had no idea about the spacesuits, Bill. I want to thank you very much. Bill Harwood joining us from our bureau in NASA. Thank you so much, Bill.
Sure thing.